daily am seeing a lot higher scores on our cool down.
Our English language learners they had the highest growth when it came to a pre and a post.
Our students are more proficient on our district assessments, on the state assessments, and on the national assessment we use.
The students are actually talking about math when we let them free to work on the activity.
It was listening to the students in class as they collaborated with each other over the math. I was blown away.
So let's be honest. Implementing a new mathematics instructional model with integrity at a high level is difficult. It requires personal change on the part of the teacher. It's time intensive.
The implementation of the illustrative math curriculum has evolved over time.
It started really with more of a compliance and trying to see if it was being utilized in buildings.
There was a lot of nerves around it, and it just felt very different.
Most of our schools were taking just tasks or maybe an idea from the curriculum and using it in their classroom to try and guide student learning.
We started with some resistance to the curriculum just because the teachers did not understand how to use what they already know to support the curriculum and to improve it as they were, working with their student.
How does that couple with our more novice teachers coming in, learning to teach on the one hand, it's an advantage because they don't know how curriculum was previously taught. They don't know the previous curriculum, so there's nothing to shift. However, there's a lot of growing, and the supports, the folks that are supporting, as we've mentioned quite a few times today, need to be on board with supporting the learning for those novice teachers.
Teachers weren't always understanding the resources within the curriculum. Teachers weren't always understanding the why behind things. And they would just look at the slides and say, I think I know what this is about.
I just felt like I was complying. I was doing it because I had to. I wasn't doing it because I wanted to.
The need to address how we implement instructional materials is really important in the education ecosystem. So the goal of our CBPL network is to increase student learning and achievement and to positively affect teaching and learning of middle school mathematics for equitable outcomes through the effectiveness of curriculum-based professional learning.
All the other previous professional development that I've been a part of has not been really embedded in the curriculum. In other professional learning, it's always pushing things out, and you're always learning. You're never going back and saying, well, implement this and let's see how it changed and let's talk about why.
I've had many different PDs that are great in terms of great information, but then I never hear back from them again. There's no follow-up, there's no feedback, there's nothing that goes with it.
The Learning Forward CBPL network provides a research-informed structure to organize learning and to address a shared problem of practice in a collaborative environment. Because we are grounded in the standards for professional learning, we're really supporting a coherent system of professional learning. It's ongoing, it's collaborative, and the professional learning is happening regularly as a part of day-to-day work.
So we're not just meeting one time and hope you implement. It's you're meeting periodically throughout the year, and you're getting support with things that are aligned to what you consider to be a pebble in your shoe.
They give you a lot of information, and then they expand upon that, and then they give the feedback towards it, and then they give you more tools.
We have a group of people to meet with that are going through the same things.
We got to engage with people from other districts and coaches, teachers, and district officials,
getting to hear other strategies from teachers at other schools, other grade levels, as well as from the aspect of coaches and administration as well. has been able to advance me with strategies that I'm putting in the classroom.
Here's one specific lesson, let's dig in. If I have level 1s in my class, what would I do to provide the appropriate supports? If I have level 2s, what would I do? And then they are going to share those at in-service.
Sometimes we are just sitting alone at our school thinking about what we can do, or we talk with other people who are doing something, but it might be a different curriculum. And so we share the story and the journey together, and we can share things and make it better for our students.
We're in our first year, and we've learned an awful lot of best practices just being in the room with other administrators and other school leaders and system leaders, so that we avoid some of the common mistakes others have made in their process.
Let's make tweaks here and there. So adjusting change ideas versus throwing everything out of the way. And I think that's a mindset shift that we've had, which has been very helpful. And we hope to expand that.
Getting to also talk to other teachers from different districts who are in different stages of their implementation of IM has been so helpful. And just kind of knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It isn't, let me take this big idea and think on my own how to apply it to the curriculum or to what a teacher's doing every day. It is about the curriculum.
This project meshes all those together very well and hears the voices of all the stakeholders. And I think that's really important because I think our students are benefiting from that.
This network has shifted our mindsets around professional learning. It's also helped us to think about professional learning through the lens of continuous improvement. So not do this thing and try to get it right, but it's more about what do we need to adapt? What do we need to adopt? What do we need to abandon?
We focused on, okay, how can my students better understand the lesson? How can they better understand the activities?
The CBPL network has been such a great way to empower teachers.
There was sort of a switch where I was like, all right, I'm going to buy into this. And it was, I think, because I finally understood, how it was supposed to be implemented. I understood the math language routines and the purpose of them and the order.
When we're implementing a brand new curriculum, the focus has to be on how do I let go of my ego, my preference, and focus on serving the children.
The teachers, the instructional coaches, the district and school leaders are actually unpacking their own biases and beliefs about math instruction and their assumptions about students' abilities to learn and to achieve.
We have a very high English language learner and special education population, and the students just literally could not understand the text. Math nowadays is so language heavy, and so we broke down the words, we broke down the language and made it so that our students it was accessible to them.
Our students had very limited vocabulary when it came to content area vocabulary and the terminology that needed to be used. Open Up Math already came with a math language routine. We immediately jumped on, let's look at the math language routines in the curriculum to see how that looks.
Teachers had been hesitant to do the math language routine and understand, why do I need to do it? They thought it was just something extra. And so sometimes the math language routine or the activity it was attached to is really the learning for the day. It also has gotten more kids doing, thinking, and collaborating about math like we've never seen before.
We realized that not only did they know the words, but they understood the function of the word and how that needed to be used, particularly with math instruction. In fact, at Goodlettsville, the math scores increased as a result of the work that we did around the math language routines.
The teachers are looking at the cool down, looking at what the actual goal from the cool down is, what's the learning goal from the curriculum, how does the warm-up relate, how does the task relate, and really defining the learning experience based on the curriculum and the standards in it, instead of creating things to try and get kids to understand.
And now we've gotten into how are we teaching the lesson? So how are we launching the activity? how are we using the MLR to get students where we need them to be, and how are we synthesizing the activities so that we make sure that students understand what they need to understand for that lesson.
So as we're engaging in CBPL and continuous improvement, we're actually always paying attention to teachers' learning needs so that the educators and the students in the system have access to and are receiving the support that they need to be successful in math.
We've seen a lot more ownership of the implementation. Teachers are taking chances. They're being much more risk takers in the classroom while staying within the confines of the curriculum. And with more time and more practice, things will only get better.
It has offered us the opportunity to customize our responses to the supports that our students need. And so that in itself empowers teachers. It empowered us.
This has been an opportunity to really elevate their voice, empower them as users, to say, no, this is the challenge I'm having, and this is an idea I have to change it, and I feel empowered to do that.
I took a lot of time to not perfect, but enhance the way that my students work through activities in the curriculum. We have the kids in mind, and we're trying to see how can we get them to learn the math in the most suitable way for them.
What we really were able to do was true collaborative planning and sit down and realize what our problem was and really come up with a resolution that we feel is going to catapult our students into academic success. Teachers should be coaching and facilitating, and they're excited about being able to put into play with their students, the resolutions or the practices or the strategies that they have created. And they're willing and excited to be back into the work.
In a classroom that's focused on problem solving, they're actually attending to math literacy, and students are talking about and making meaning of complex math concepts.
There's a change in the students' math proficiency based on the amount of mathematical language that they incorporated in their answers. Going from just putting down a number as an answer to the explanation of what is being asked of them.
We can see that students are better mathematical thinkers. Their discourse has improved. They have the amount of things that they're capturing in their workbooks is the quality is better compared to what it was previously.
The changes are phenomenal. You see a decrease in the number of discipline referrals because the children now are speaking the language and doing the math collectively together. You see teachers release some control because now their confidence has been built up in believing that their children can do it, and then seeing it with their own two eyes that they can do it. I saw children gain confidence. They know what they know. And that's a beautiful thing. So we really had the real special nuances and intimacies to education. And when you get that back, when you can, restore that energy, it's a beautiful thing.
And now teachers are reading the instructional materials. Teachers are understanding when to keep going, when to press pause. Teachers now understand that, yes, there is a new lesson every day. Keep going, and the pieces are all going to fit together, which is letting me know that the learning is there, it's happening, and, just looking forward to it continue going up. The curriculum works has been inspiring, and I feel like helps me keep doing it every day.
Hearing them talk about a shift from compliance to really understanding and owning the materials and how they meet the needs of their students and seeing that in their students has been really beautiful.
I understood it so much better that my students were able to understand it better. And there was actually learning that was happening, not just compliance.
I am 100% in. I'm seeing the growth that my students are having because of the curriculum and the strategies that they're using. We are closing the loop for learning.
I hope you've been inspired by the commitment and dedication and the work of the CBPL network members who shared their reflections and their stories. Learning Forward's curriculum-based professional learning network, it's a learning and inquiry network, and it's making a difference in teachers' practice and students' learning and achievement.